Hello, my name is Lexie Tabbert, and this is my idea pitch for Nordstrom's and their new launch of Trunk Club. There is currently a dilemma between in-store and online shopping. There are benefits and disadvantages to both. Online shopping has had a large influx of shoppers due to convenience and lack of time to physically go shopping. On the flip side, in-store shopping brings shoppers instant gratification and the ability to touch and try on items before purchasing. While there isn't proven to be a right or wrong answer to this dilemma, one facet that is seeming to be lost between both of these experiences is the human-to-human factor. Nordstrom's recently launched a new service called the Trunk Club. This brand is an attempt at trying to bridge the gap between online shopping and in-store shopping. Trunk Club is a clothing subscription in which clients sign up for and are paired with stylists who help them build their style through their online platform and then bring it to their doorstep. Once the client receives the trunk of clothing picked out by the stylist, the client decides what items they would like to keep and what items they would like to send back. Through this process, the stylist learns what the client's likes and dislikes are. While I think this business model could be successful, I still see a gap in the human-to-human experience. How do clients know that there is actually a stylist there helping them behind the computer screen? There is already a lack of trust when clients are shopping online, and I'm not sure that Trunk Club is currently succeeding in convincing their clients that they are actually paying for a living stylist that is helping them with their needs. My proposal to Nordstrom's is a 100 by 80 pop-up retail experience that would help connect and engage stylists and clients. This space would be broken into two main areas. The first would house the runway experience where guests would watch a fashion show that showcases clothing from the Trunk Club. The next space attendees would move to is the Find Your Style dressing room area, where they would try on clothing that they like based off the runway show. This would be a private event, so there would be only one entrance and exit in order for the receptionist to monitor who is coming in and out of the space. In this space, I will strive to excite attendees with their surroundings and the staffers that guide them through. During the experience, they will be supplied with knowledge from the experts on how to better their look and style. Providing guests with non-invasive teaching, guests will feel comfortable engaging and connecting with their stylist. After leaving the space, guests will feel connected with the brand and excited to continue their relationship with them. I looked to the Trunk Club's website to gain knowledge on their branding and color scheme. The top left corner is the colors that I found throughout their website. I noticed that the layout was very clean, minimal, and open, yet very impactful. I used these aspects to guide me as I created the space. This pop-up space would be traveling to a variety of large US cities. Because the space is fairly large, it would need to be set up in a larger mall setting. Think of this experience being set up in the Mall of America on the bottom floor as people walk by. Based off my design style, I incorporated large open windows to keep the space open and airy. This also allowed for passerbyers to get excited about the experience going on. I wanted to keep the fitting room area more private, not only for the client and stylist's sake, but also not to give away the whole experience for those passing by. With the space at hand, I found that it could house 24 people at a time. Each attendee would have their own personal staff member with them throughout the experience. You can see that the chairs are in sets of 2 with ample space on all sides. I did this so that the attendees and staffers can have private conversations with one another as the runway show is taking place without overhearing everyone else's conversation. Meet Katie. Katie heard about the Trunk Club experience through an advertisement on her Facebook feed. She is located in the Brainerd area, so the nearest Trunk Club for her would be in Minneapolis in Mall of America. You can see some of her typical apparel below. Katie typically sticks to lounge clothing or an occasional sweater. Katie wishes her closet was a little bit more up to date, but at the same time, style is not something that she wants to put a lot of time and priority on. When she seen the advertisement, she thought it would be a perfect way for her to learn how to update her look without investing a ton of time and energy. When Katie makes it to the pop-up experience, she'll be greeted by her personal stylist throughout the experience, Jane. Jane has been a stylist with Trunk Club for 4 years now and has helped many people find their true style. Once Katie, Jane, and the rest of the attendees and the stylist take their seats, the runway experience will begin. As each model makes his or her way down the runway, guests will be able to observe the clothing and the different looks that each model is wearing. At the base of the stage, there will be 3 large LED screens. The 2 outside screens will show each piece separately that the model is wearing. This will help attendees break down the different looks and see how they could incorporate some of these elements into their everyday look. As the model walks down the stage, the stylist will have an iPad that also shows each piece the model is wearing. The stylist will be able to get immediate insight from their client as to what some of their likes and dislikes are. There is room for comments next to each of these items, so that, say, the client likes the black heels that the model is wearing, but 6 inches is just a little bit too high for their comfort. The stylist will be able to take note of that, so that after the experience, when they are sending clients trunks, they make sure never to send heels that are 6 inches or taller. After the runway show is over, Katie and Jane will walk to the fitting room area, where they will work through different styles based on what they've seen at the runway show. In this space, I went towards the warmer side of the Trunk Club palette to create a warm, friendly environment for clients to connect and engage with their stylists. This is a view of how I plan to take 24 pairs of people from the runway show and allocate space for them in the fitting rooms. Each station would house 2 pairs of stylists and attendees. This idea for traffic flow is that one group would be picking out clothes and talking about different styles, while the other group would be trying on the clothing in the dressing rooms. Once Katie and Jane make their way to the fitting room, Jane will immediately work on getting exact measurements for Katie. This ensures that Jane will never have to send Katie something that is not her size. On the back wall, you can see how I carried the mirror wall from the runway area into the fitting rooms. I felt that this design aligned with my design style, with the crisp, clean lines, minimal color, yet creating a bold piece for people to admire and engage with. In a perfect world, this space would be able to have all kinds of size, colors, and styles for each individual coming through. However, I'm trying to sell a real idea, and that would be nearly impossible. I decided it would be best to have 4 categories of clothing, a few pieces from each category for guests to try on. Like I mentioned before, Katie would fit better under the lounge category of clothing, but this experience would allow for her to try on, say, some of the clothing in the business casual category. As Jane and Katie go through each of these categories, they will be able to have insightful conversations about what areas of clothing Katie could extend her style to. After Katie and Jane finished their session in the fitting rooms, Jane would walk Katie out to the front desk for departure. Before leaving, Katie would be able to sign up for her first trunk and receive 20% off for participating in this experience. After 2 weeks after the experience, Katie would receive her first trunk of clothing. All the clothing would be picked out by Jane based off the experience that Katie and her had at the pop-up retail. Inside would be a hand-wrote note from Jane recapping the Trunk Club experience and thanking Katie for ordering her first trunk. This hand-wrote note would serve as a reinforcement that even after the face-to-face experience, that Jane is still there to help Katie along her journey with Trunk Club. Here is a short summary of where Katie's closet was before and after attending the experience and meeting Jane. You can see that Jane helped Katie find a couple new styles that aren't necessarily completely astray from what Katie had, but enough to freshen up her look and show her new options when picking out clothing. I really enjoyed creating this project and pushing myself to problem solve through my own ideas. Thank you for listening, and this concludes my presentation for the Trunk Club experience.